Hey there, so this is Katherine. I wanted to share this new Diamond Press Hello Friend Hidden Messages Kit. It is the first auto ship I received from HSN. Diamond Press put this hidden message kit out a few months ago, and this is the first one that's shipped. I have an earlier video for Happy Mail that I'm going to link that will show you the base pieces that you'll use, but this kit has some stamps as well as some dies, but I used these main pieces that came in the original kit to create these cards. So I wanted to share a few things I made with you. So I'm going to make a total of 4 cards. I'm starting with some patterned paper, and I'm going to glue these tab pieces together. And then on flipping my paper over, there's what they call a tab guide, and you don't want to glue the whole thing down. You just want to glue kind of the front part of it. You want to leave that back part open so your tab can slide through, but it helps guide that piece through. And you'll see there's some tabs on there as well as a creased part. You just fold that together, and then you're going to feed it through your guide piece. And then once you get those little tabs through, you pop them back open, and that allows you to have the sliding mechanism where we're going to add this flap. It's a square flap that is included in this kit. So once you get that squared away, we'll add our tabs. You can see I'm kind of working with the mechanism. And then there are 2 pages of instructions. They're in full color. And so if you forget how to make it, if it's been a while, you can come back to it. It's got all the instructions there, which I find super helpful. So I'm going to line this up at the bottom. I'm using liquid glue. I find it's pretty forgiving, and it allows you to get your placement just right in case you need to move it. And then I'll do the same thing on the other. You're just adding these 2 pieces of square pieces to it to cover up that flap. And there you get this cute mechanism. So I'm consulting my instructions. I'm going to add some of the foam tape to the back. There was some foam included in the kit, but I just have this large foam sheets that I love, so I'm just adding those to the back. You don't want to block your mechanism. You see I'm going to put a little tiny piece at the top, but I want to make sure that nothing is blocked. And they have pictures on these directions that show you how to do it. I'm going to stamp my square piece with one of the stamps, Get Well Soon. You'll see later in this video there is a rectangle die and that cuts the frame outside, but it cuts that inside square. I'm sorry I didn't show that, but you'll see it in a minute. If you look in the bottom left, you can see that frame, and on the inside of that is where I'm getting my squares from. And again, all the instructions are included. So I'm going to add this to some patterned paper, and I have cut that paper A2 sized, which in the US is 4¼ inches by 5½, and then I'm going to add it onto a white A2 card base. I'm going to add my orange frame. I stamped and die cut that, and that is where that center square is coming from. I just cut it in yellow, and then that's where I will fit that underneath my flap, and you're able to line it up very easily, again using liquid glue to give you some flexibility. I stamped and die cut a bunch of butterflies that I'm going to use throughout this video. I chose a blue one on this, and I started with it at an angle. I didn't love it, so I pulled it straight, and I think it works well with my stripes. So that's the first card, Get Well Soon. On the second one, same thing. I've pre-cut my pieces. I'm going to glue the 2 pieces together for the tab. I'm going to add my tab guide on the back, and remembering to not glue down that little skinny part. That's what allows your mechanism to work. And you can do it in any color. I just did it in yellow so you could really see on the video. You could do it in white or whatever you wish. You don't see it, so it doesn't matter what color you choose. I just did it so you would be able to see it well in the video. I'm a visual learner, so being able to see it makes a difference for me. And now I've got this, my flap ready to go. You can see the frame, and I pulled out my squares that I need. I chose to go with a light kind of mint color for the flap. I'm going to add that bouquet in just a minute, but I'm going to take a moment using my liquid glue that allows me to wiggle it around. I'm going to get that put in place so my flaps are matched up, and that's ready to go. I'm going to add my pull here in navy. That cute little sentiment comes in the stamp set, like I said. I'm going to add another sentiment, "You are loved." That will be on the square underneath, and I am using a navy ink for that as well. And then we will add some adhesive foam to the back, and I'm going to pop up that little piece above, just remembering not to block your mechanism. And don't forget to take off your tape so you can glue it down. And making sure my flap is working just fine. I'm going to add this also to a white A2 sized card base. And I'm going to add my bouquet. You're going to see a mistake here, just a moment. I think it's in great position, and I'm going to add my "You are loved," and that fits just fine. But I'm going to realize that my berries on the very top are blocking, so I'm not able to do my flap quite how I want. So I just tear it off. Tried to be gentle, but it had already glued. So I tear that off, and my flap is working much better. Just make sure that you keep it below. On this next card, I took a diamond press background die, cut it twice in a darker green and a lighter green. I trimmed the bottom part off of the lighter green and added it to the darker green, and I also offset it a little bit so I could have some contrast with it and add a little bit of dimension. I'm going to glue this down, and you'll be able to see, you can see the bottom's a little bit lighter than the edges. And then I've added that to an A2 size piece of paper, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to take a moment and tie some ribbon on there, some orange gingham, and then I will add that to a card base once I trim this down. It's a very simple card, and it's hard to tell on a video, but the dimension is really pretty with adding the 2 layers on the background just for a little something extra. I've got these 2 butterflies that I stamped and die cut in orange and gold, yellow actually, not gold, yellow. And then I'm cutting one of the word dies. There's several word dies in this kit. I chose "Hello" just out of black cardstock. I'm going to glue that down, and then I will stamp something on the inside. So my fingers are a little sticky. I should have maybe used an adhesive sheet, but the glue with that fine tip works just fine. So there's some sayings and more sayings in the kit. Just wanted to say I've stamped in black. I love that typewriter font, and then "Thank you." You can't have enough thank you cards, and I'm always in need of those. So again, I'm just going to glue this down to my A2 card base. And it's very simple, but very beautiful. So that's the third card we're going to make. Here's our fourth card. I am going to begin by stamping this banner in red. This is included in the stamp set in this first auto ship. And I'm going to add "Thank you" in orange. And I realized that my stamp was not clean, so remember to clean your stamp. So I've got to clear that up and go back and stamp that in orange. I'm going to add this banner and run it through my Marquise cutting machine, and then we will start assembling this card. It's pretty quick and easy. I'm going to add this patterned paper to a piece of gold foil cardstock, and that is on a red card base. I am very much into gold foil cardstock right now. I've been adding it to every thing I can, and I thought it would work really well with the warm colors of these butterflies. So I've cut some foam tape, and I'm going to add them down the middle of my card. Since I have 3, nature likes 3, and so I'm keeping my number odd. I'm going to add that. There's an orange one that I added a little bit of yellow on the edge. I'm going to add that as my center, and then I'm going to come back and add a little bit of foam on the ends of the thank you. I thought about doing it across the whole thing, and then I changed my mind because I wanted it to lie on top of my butterfly, so I just did the edges, and that's it on that. Here are the 4 cards that I made, and 2 of these obviously have the interactive element that are super, super fun, but I also wanted to show that you could make cards without the interactive element. Don't just limit yourself to that kit. Use these beautiful butterflies for other things. So I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Let me know if you have a favorite card, and be sure and like and share this video and subscribe if you like what you see. I'm going to be sharing more of these as we go along and as I receive them. Thanks so much for watching.